When relationships break down, it is difficult to try to rebuild them. The prejudices, the resentments remain. Things are not the same as they were before. There is something that has changed. In relationships, we always want to win or at least be reassured that we won't lose and get hurt. But deep down in our hearts, those who think that way will never come to true love. On the contrary, this Sunday's readings presents us with a very different way of loving, which is not only God's way of loving, but the way that every disciple is called to follow. A love that allows itself to be thrown into the ground, that knows how to accept the weight of the turf above it, to let it go, to lose itself, to allow itself to be transformed. The seed is no longer seen in the flower, but it is in it. True love knows how to disappear. It does not constantly demand to be seen. True love knows irreversibility. The seed that has allowed itself to be transformed can never return. Seed love is either eternal or it is not. The seed gives life and can never take it away. Jeremiah's verse in this Sunday's first reading revolve around the image of the covenant, a friendship, a deep relationship. I will be their God and they will be my people. But God repeats these words after the covenant has been broken many times. It is as if God does not give up in the face of the unfaithfulness of the people. In fact, the new covenant that Jeremiah speaks of seems to contradict this because it promises an even deeper intimacy. It will be based on a law, on a word that does not need to be understood because it will be written in the heart. It is as if the further away people are, the closer God wants to be to them. It is not by chance that this new covenant will be completed by Jesus on the cross. That is, by the one who, when lifted up, will draw all to himself. God does not give up in the face of our infidelity. It is precisely persistent love that awakens in the other the desire for change. It is this insight that the psalmist comes to in Psalm 50 when he calls for a pure heart, a heart that is free to receive love. Sometimes God stands before us with his mercy, but we are stuck in our past. We are fixated on our mistakes. We struggle to let ourselves be loved in a new way. In a relationship, we can say that we love when we come to give ourselves completely. Obviously, on the cross is exactly the image of this full and trusting love because, as the letter to the Hebrews reminds us, Jesus gave himself up even when he felt abandoned. This is total trust in the other. To obey life, to obey incomprehensible events, is to surrender one's life, to trust the one to whom I entrust my life. Any relationship that is not a mutual surrender is never authentic. Love is only experienced in surrender. And this is basically the image that is presented to us in the Gospel of John this Sunday. The grain of wheat gives itself to the earth, and this is the only way to bear fruit. If the grain of wheat does not allow itself to be enveloped by the earth, if it does not go through the pain of breaking itself, that making the plant sprout, it will never come to full fruition. I long for the fruit, but I am afraid to be enveloped by the earth, to surrender to it. In fact, many people live like this. They withhold life. They never fully surrender, even in the most meaningful and important relationships of their lives. They never really get to love. They're afraid of losing themselves. And so life passes by without ever getting to live it fully. One can be a parent but never accept to lose oneself fully for the children. One can be a friend but never accept to take the risk of losing one's life for the friend. One can also be a shepherd but never have the willingness to lose oneself for the flock. These are all seeds that will never bear fruit, seeds that have lived in vain. Jesus, on the other hand, allows himself to be enveloped by the earth all the way down. If, like the Jews, we want to see him, we must look for him there among the clouds of earth that cover the sea. That which gives life is humble. So it disappears to make room for something else. Then we will see Jesus in the fruits of his word. We will see him in the justice of love, in the broken bread.